Welcome to lesson 6004 of prerequisites for precalculus or trigonometry. Let's talk about the Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, the Cartesian plane. What is the Cartesian plane? The Cartesian plane is that grid plane that deals with squares. So all Cartesian coordinates start at the origin and you go from there. So you have broken down into four quadrants. The first quadrant, if this is x and this is y, the x value is positive, the y value is positive. So all of your dots wind up in that quadrant. If you're in quadrant 2, the x coordinate is negative, but the y coordinate is positive. And remember, when dealing in the Cartesian coordinate system, we always go x first from the origin, then y second from the origin. In the third coordinate, both x and y are negative, going from the origin. And this is going to be important in the future. In the fourth quadrant, given by IV, the x is positive, but the y is I meant to write positive there. Why did I write x? That's what I get for writing too fast. Plus and minus. So positive x's are on the right side of y. Negative x's are on the left side of y. Positive y's are above the x-axis, and negative y's are below the x-axis. Here are some examples of points. So the origin, 0, 0. To get to 2, 3, we go right 2 from the origin, and then we go up 3. To get to negative 3, 1, we go left 3 and then up 1. Just to show you the movement. And to get down into the third quadrant, we went left 2 and a half. Well, no, 1.5, I'm sorry. And down 2.5. So you go any distance in any direction, and your points locate you in space. So it's very important to make sure to put the x first. Because if you tell me you're going to 3, 2, because I don't care which way to write the points, you're going to wind up right there. 3, 2 is not the same as 2, 3. It's a big difference, especially when dealing with negatives. If this is one of them supposed to be negative and you're in the wrong place, you can be jacked up. Okay, let's talk about absolute value for a second. What is absolute value? Absolute value is a distance. When we talk about these parallel lines that we see, these two parallel lines surrounding a variable or a number, it is a distance away from 0 on the number line. So if we imagine the number line, we imagine the number 0, think of a number, 4 and negative 4. 4 and negative 4 are both 4 away from 0 on the number line. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4. It is 4 away. It just happens to be left of 0. Positive 4 happens to be right of 0. So absolute value is a distance. When you take the absolute value of a number, you have to consider the positive of the number and the negative of the number. This is going to be important in the future. So just hold on to that gem. Okay, let's talk about the distance formula. The distance formula comes from Pythagorean's theorem. If we take a squared plus b squared equals c squared, remember, when you solve an equation, you cannot leave c squared as an answer. We have to take the square root to get rid of a square. So if I have c squared, I have to take the square root, and the square root will cancel out the square, and I will be left with c equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. Now, if I'm given a and b as 2 legs, that's fine. I could just do this. But what if I'm only given points? Then I had to use what's called the distance formula. Distance equals the square root in parentheses x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. So this is the same as Pythagorean theorem, but it's using points instead of legs. Well, you subtract the points and you will get the legs, the leg in A and the leg in B. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you pick as x2 or which one you pick as x1. If you use x2 on x, make sure you use y2 and y. So, and they number it out for you. And let's see if we can solve a problem using the distance formula. So, if I say I'm given a line, and this point is 1, 1, and this point is, I don't know, 8, 10. So what I'm going to do is say the distance formula is equal to the square root. I'll take my x's first, and I'm taking 8 as my x2 minus 1, quantity squared, plus 10 minus 1, quantity squared. And I'm going to go from here, 7 squared plus 9 squared, which gives me 49 plus 81. Don't forget to square root it. Don't forget to square root it. 130, which is the square root of 130. That is my distance. Now, I could be given something different. I could be given the distance and be given 3, 2, and 10y. Let's say I have a distance of 18. I could solve this by going 18 equals, I don't know, 10 minus 3 quantity squared plus y minus 2 quantity squared. I could figure out all of this and solve for y. I could do that. And I think you know how to do that. I trust that you know how to solve for y from here, but I just wanted to show you you could do various things. You could get rid of that 3 and all kinds of good stuff. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about in the Cartesian coordinate is finding the midpoint of a line segment. So using the midpoint formula. Here's our midpoint formula. You add the x coordinates and the y coordinates, you divide them by 2, and you separate them. So what the midpoint does is find the halfway point between two lines. It bisects a line segment, to use a word from geometry, to give us the coordinates of the halfway point. So now, if I'm given a line segment, I don't know, 2, 2, and 9, 7. So what I do is take the two y's, take the two x's, divided by 2, comma, take the two y's, divide them by 2. I get 11 over 2, comma, 9 over 2. And that's my point. So my midpoint will be somewhere around there. And this is 2 equal line segments. Now, I could also be given this. What if I'm given the midpoint, but I have to be given one at the end? What you have to remember, what if I'm given, I don't know, 1, 2, 5, 6, and then, I don't know, 8x. You're assuming it's 8, 9. We don't know. But if I'm given a line like this, all right, so let's not use x and y. That was a bad choice. I'm sorry. Let's use g. I would use 8 plus 1 because I'm given the endpoints. The endpoints of the line segment go into the formula. But now I have to set it equal to 5. Well, we already have it, so that's no good. So if I have G plus 2 over 2, I would set that equal to 6 because this is my midpoint. 5, 6 is my midpoint, and these two should equal out. They didn't, but I would just change that to 9. Let's change it to 9 to make it nicer because I didn't do a great job of picking a number that would be even. So now 9 plus 1 over 2 equals the 5. G plus 2 over 2 equals the 6. How do I solve this? I multiply by 2 on both sides. I get G plus 2 is equal to 12, and then I subtract 2 from both sides, and G will be 10. And that's how I get G. So I could give you either endpoint and the midpoint. I could give you half of an endpoint, but in the formula, the endpoints over 2. If you're not given one of the endpoints, you have to set it equal to the midpoint. So be careful of that.